And we are Creel.
We both had experience of being artists, and it came from a place of, I suppose, our lived experience of being artists and feeling like we wanted to share something with other artists or have a commonality between people.
Yeah.
Or just to I suppose just to be seen with other artists, and it felt like it was something we could see happening in other cities, but not so much in Hull, or at least like we didn't feel like there was anything here we could relate to. So I suppose that's how Creel started, is just that we, in like a really, really simple way, we just wanted to provide something, whatever you want to call it, like a platform, a place for artists to be in common, like together.
I think it's what we wanted when we were here studying and everything, because we were at foundation together. And we wanted that, and then to be able to provide that now is really exciting.
It's weird,
isn't it?
it's such a small thing, but showing with other people or being recognised as having been part of something, whatever it is, like however small it is, it can really make your practice feel different in some ways. I think I always would get value from it when I was making work or showing work.
I think it's the connections between everyone as well. Like, we've met so many good people through doing it, and I think the people involved have also met other people. I think it's all making that big community and making the connections. It's really important. I think there was a base level of what we kind of wanted from the experience and what we wanted to provide, but
when 87 approached us to do the exhibition, we were just really excited, so we didn't necessarily see it coming, so it wasn't like a concept of anything, it was already in the pipeline, because we'd done our online exhibition and then been carried away with live stuff. So in a way it was really good, because it made us think about what we actually wanted to do, and it turned out that what we actually wanted to do was, again, really simple. We just wanted to bring together like a handful of artists under the, I suppose, like the provocation of place, and them being from the same place, whether they are still in the same place, being Hull, or whether they've gone and come back. We just wanted to bring them together and see what the differences are or aren't. Where the sea comes into it came from the fact that the sea has this ability to reinvent things.
Yeah, make an impression.
Cement things, make impression. And it's all to do with place, and place does the same thing.
I feel like location was always a big point that we wanted to be involved and show. And I think the whole, like, how your environment has changed your work and who you are and everything, I think that's been massive to us personally. So I think we wanted to explore that and see if that resonate with anyone else, and I think it did.
I think it's important to give a big space to small questions, and like have a place where you can just be like, I wonder if that makes a difference, or like, I wonder if we'd be able to trace anything in that, and having a space to do that, and it not there being no pressure of there being like a big result or a big outcome.
Well, I think 87 Gallery gave us that space, so we wanted to give the artists that space as well, because we thought we worked quite well with that intention, so it was quite nice to give them the same opportunity that we feel like we were given.
Yeah, even though it can feel like doing an open call can feel like quite a democratic thing, because you're not going out and like almost cherry picking people. There's also the other side of it, and in some ways selection kind of like takes that out of it, because you can just like go to someone and be like, this is, we really believe in your work. And that's kind of how we did it, wasn't it? It's just super intuitive.
We also sat down and we was like, what gives us the right to to pick? And we did sit down and have that conversation. We were like, so what gives? Yeah. So I think we found that process hard, because we've been in both sides of that. It felt like more of like an open, longer conversation with each artist, didn't it? Every approach, it was a lot of back and forth and making sure, just making sure everyone knew that everything was on the table. We were from the first bit. We were very like, everything on the table. This is it.
We made quite like a big point of trying to be really like transparent.
Yeah,
get straight in our own heads what was actually going on. It always just comes back to like, who do we really like want to work with, and like whose work excites us. But also there's like tens of other artists that really excite us. But
yeah.
It's like you thinking about what's going to work together. And
I think that was the hardest because there was so many different artists that are amazing that we'd love to work with, but having to narrow that down as well was pretty hard, I think.
I suppose that work is the one that has like the most obvious tie to a place. That feels really warm, and like the colloquial language used, and it just feels really wholesome in some way, whether that's intended or not. And it feels like other people from different parts of the country would be like, what is a 10-foot? Or like what or like the phrase, you can't sink a ship that sails in the sky, sounds really poetic, but we all know BHS, so it's different to us.
Yeah, I think seeing the work in person, like that as well as generally, really brought it into a new realm for me, really. When we saw it all laid out and everything, I was like, oh no, this is like something special. Like, yeah.
It's really exciting to see someone exploring like their dual heritage through objects and through sculpture. And I think her work is really exciting because, knowing her process, she puts a lot of emphasis on the research, and it retains that like political element without being like overtly so. And I think that's what's most exciting about Natasha's work. The themes that she explores, things like heritage and nationality and identity, are like all really, well, they're not tangible things, are they? They're like non-tangible, but expressing those or fueling those into like objects, like a concrete chair, feels like in some ways a better expression of these complicated, nuanced things or ideas. Like the literal seems to sum it up better than the non-literal.
I went to go visit Harry in his studio. It blew me away when
prolific,
I saw it.
isn't he?
Yeah, it was just amazing. I think just the sheer size as well just brings such a...
I suppose Harry's someone we've known for quite a while as well.
Yeah.
In the way that like people in Hull know each other, but like you're just like in and out of each other's lives, like studying at the same place, not really like knowing each other, but I suppose we've just known for a while that he's doing really exciting stuff.
We've always from afar, well not from afar, but admired his work as well, haven't we? So
yeah, absolutely.
It's really exciting that we've got to work with him and get to have it in the show.
It was just great to meet an artist who had so much like conviction, and just it was just really refreshing to work with an artist who had like such strong feelings about how they wanted the work to be shown. To me, Ella's work is so exciting because it feels like she does so much stuff. From one work to the next, there's like similarities, but also like they feel so different. Her paintings, for example, have like a really like almost graphic language, but then they're also like super rich. Like seeing them in person, like they're just so, like there's just so much work. They're so dense in some ways, like vibrant.
I
but also graphic. And then her wall-mounted sculpture video installation is just like completely different again. It almost feels like her work is like shape-shiftery and in a really exciting way. And I think the material, like, or like the physicality of her paintings are objects, like the smallest work we have of hers that are like, when you actually look at the surface of the painting, there's so much going on, like there's hairs embedded into it, and it's like it is super rich but also super graphic, and you can only see that by like seeing it physically.
I think it's surprised me how I've seen things now step back the way it's all laid out. It surprised me how things have crossed over and I've gone, oh, I can see.
I think the most exciting thing is just looking at the breadth of it. There's people doing different things, so many different things, and it just feels like, wow, like how exciting to have like grown up in Hull, studied art, done a foundation here, gone away and like brought these people back, and like they've all been through similar experiences to us, and just to like stand and look around and think like, oh my gosh, like
yeah, and we can celebrate it all together, which I think is just like, it's nice to be able to make it on a platform and everyone can go and see it, because I think it's known about, but people maybe who aren't in our circles
are
thinking,
hard. Like, you can be an artist doing like really quality stuff, but like at the end of the day, everyone it's really hard when you don't have like documentation, or if you're not in shows, like you don't have like just decent pictures of your work.
Yeah,
it's like it can be super good quality, but it's really hard to like
get that visibility.
I think it's just like sometimes just seeing something in the context of being in a gallery makes a massive difference. And I think we've been kind of hit the jackpot in a way with working with 87, because everyone has like really understood both of our different work commitments, personal life commitments, and
I think it's given us the jumping point now as well to go and do something else as well. I think a lot of things like this do just fade out naturally, which we were more than
happy.
Well, not I wouldn't say happy, but we were ready for that to happen. We were like, if that happens, then it happens.
I think as long as it feels like the most important thing is that like we're adding some kind of value and not just doing it for our own sake.
Yeah, I think when it stops adding value,
and you'll just kind of know. I think that's the most important thing. Like who are we actually doing this for? Kind of feels like if we ever get to a place where we're just doing it for us, then there's a lot of other things we could be doing instead that would be more worthwhile.
I think it'd be time to take a step back.